January the 8th, as most of you know, was Elvis's birthday, and this year, 2022, would have been his 87th birthday. And it's interesting that Elvis knew nothing about these things. The reason I'm showing you this CD is because it was released on January the 8th, 1992, in fact, which would have been Elvis's 57th birthday. And that wasn't just a coincidence. Particularly in the CD era, the Japanese record company has cashed in on Elvis's birthday. But in fact, this was one of 6 released on that day, January the 8th, 1992, and they were in fact the first CDs released on his birthday. I've only found one record that was released on January the 8th, and that came out in 1985, which would have been Elvis's 50th birthday. That was the Blue Suede Shoes, blue vinyl single. So if we go back to this one, the other 5 CDs that were released in the series were Elvis Sings Lieber Stoller, the TV special, which was a reissue, From Elvis in Memphis, Back in Memphis. Those 2 were first pressings. This one and one other, which I'll show you in a moment. Just on the subject of Gold Records Volume 5, this was actually not this version, but there was an earlier version which came out in the mid-80s, which was the second ever Elvis CD released. And like this one, it was the 10-track version. So the upgrade version didn't come out until the end of the 90s. Well, this is a typical Japanese booklet with the English lyrics, Japanese information, and so on. And one of those early versions came up, one of those first pressings came up recently for sale at auction in Japan, and once again I missed out on it because it was a little bit expensive. So I mentioned there were 6 CDs released on that day, January the 8th, 1992, and the other one was this one here, For the Asking. And it looks just the same on the back, or very similar on the back. There were a lot of CDs released in this series, the Elvis in the 90s series, at least a couple of dozen. For the Asking, so this album, it was only released on CD in Japan, not on LP. I'm sure you're familiar with all the tracks. And the booklet is fairly similar to the one we just looked at. This one, however, does have a lot of information in Japanese about the songs. It tells you when they were recorded and when they were originally released and how they were released, single and or album. And at the back there, it's also got the English liner notes. And I've got another CD that came out later than that in a different series, and that is this one here, the second album. And this was what they call an SHM-CD. So SHM was one of these newfangled technologies, you know, the kind, this sounds way better than anything that's ever been released before. They do actually sound very good, but I can't tell if it's better sound quality or just louder mastering. And this one was released on January the 8th, 2009. And as you can see, it's got a lot of tracks on there. So this is the same track listing as the upgrade version from 1999, which I also have here. Okay, so it looks very similar. There are a couple of differences though. So this one, the SHM-CD, as I say, is supposedly made with superior materials. And this is also a 2005 remaster. So, does this one sound better than that one there from 1999? Well, to be honest, I don't know, because this particular version, the SHM-CD, is a mispress. You can see the disc there, it says Elvis Presley, Elvis, but in actual fact, this disc plays the first album, Elvis Presley. And it was a huge production error that occurred with this album. This was also part of a series. All the other ones were okay. And they re-released it with the correct disc. And the only way you can tell if you've got the right disc from the outside is by looking at the barcode. So the barcode here, as normal, is white. So the white barcode tells you that the disc is the Elvis Presley disc, the wrong disc. If you find this CD with a yellow barcode, you'll know that you have the Elvis CD, the correct CD on the inside. All right, so that's something to watch out for if you decide to get these. They're starting to get a little bit more expensive now because it's been a long time since they were released. But by far the best Elvis birthday release came out in 1995 on his 60th birthday. That was a CD box set, and I'm going to save that for a later video. But in the meantime, crank up the music, enjoy Elvis's birthday, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Cheers.